Superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
Good morning. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the host of The Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Due to popular demand, today we bring back Bob Allison's Ask Your Neighbor radio broadcast. Bob passed away last March, and due to the current COVID crisis, his broadcast left the air after nearly 60 years of solving household problems for the neighbors. But today, we'll devote a portion of this broadcast to helping you, the neighbors. It could be looking for a particular recipe, where to buy it, how to do it, advice of travel or personal matters, and more. I've invited Bob's son, Rob, to join us for his thoughts and input. Rob has been a critical part of Ask Your Neighbor for some 25 years. The Ask Your Neighbor website, askyourneighbor.com, still offers a number of Bob Allison's popular cookbooks and hundreds of recipes as well. Do you have a common household problem that you'd like solved? Well, while we're on the air, why don't you call our call-in number 248-557-3300 and ask your neighbor. That's 248-557-3300 for the next hour. Wow. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Ike Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Ike Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids. You'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. And I am really excited to be on the air with our good buddy Lou Goutman, who I call him a Mr. Know-It-All, whether he likes it or not, but he knows it all, so it works out. And while we're on the air, Lou and I will be bantering. I learned that word yesterday, and I thought I'd share it with you. And we welcome your calls, as has been the tradition of the program. We really are out to try to connect, and boy, do we need connections today. For those of you who don't know the history of Ask Your Neighbor, it started out way back last century, and it was intended to replace the backyard fence in the days where there were alleys behind your home, or you lived in an area where you could talk to one another without a mask on and all. People would share their issues, family type concerns. We are not a therapy group, but we can help you in terms of basic needs, as far as if you need a plumber, you need an electrician. And of course, food recipes are always welcome. So if you'd like to share that with us while we're on the air, or you just want to have a chance to have other people pipe in on your thoughts. Yeah, it's interesting how life goes, is that we were so busy before when we were running around, and we're able to see people next to one another without a 6-foot spread, calling and getting things done electronically was looked upon as sort of impersonal. Well, now guess what? That is probably the best way that you can stay in touch. And Lou is a creative individual. In fact, I'm pleased to work with Lou in my professional portion of the Entrepreneurs Group, and we'll be taking a segment in the next half hour talking about developing your home-based business, because today it's really become very fashionable, as they call it, remote. And Lou is got a company, Advertising Alternatives, that if you're looking to promote yourself right out of your home, Lou can do that for you. Is that right, Lou? Hello,
That's
Lou.
right. Yes, that's right. And good morning. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm undeserving of that, but welcome everybody. And let's remind everybody of the phone number to call in. It's 248-557-3300. And I believe Mike will tell us that lines are open, as Bob used to say. But feel free to call in and ask a question or share an idea. And speaking of sharing ideas, Ike and I were talking off the air before the program, and we were talking about kind of aging in place, if you will. And what that means is that for those of the neighbors who are still in their own homes, there's, as the old expression goes, there's no place like home. And I think that's true in today's age, with the COVID virus still not only rampant, but unfortunately it's rising in the state of Michigan and in about 30 some other states. So moving into a senior residence, which provides a lot of benefits, of course, in the sense that you're not alone and you do have other people to talk to and mingle with. in this day and age right now, that's become very, very difficult and challenging for the senior residences to keep people apart. And I know of a few of the managers and directors and administrators of some of the homes in the area, particularly in Oakland County, and they have had their hands full of trying to keep people apart and keep them in their own apartments and provide the services that they need in terms of keeping the food on the table for them and getting them to their doctor's appointments and out shopping when they can or when it's necessary. So for those, however, who may have some challenges as they have gotten older, there are things that you can do in your own home to minimize the risk of any injuries and to keep it safe. And Ike has a whole cadre of folks who can look at your homes and give a no-cost evaluation and estimate to bring it up to your standards so that you can continue to live in your own home. And not only that, most of us older folks have homes that are already paid off, and so there's no mortgage payment. And plus, we're used to our neighborhoods and our neighbors, and if we can stay in our own homes for as long as possible, I think most people would certainly prefer that. But again, as we get older, sometimes there are some physical challenges, walking or handling stairs or steps, and Ike would be happy to again refer somebody to any of the neighbors. And there's absolutely no cost, no pressure to do anything, or no obligation. In fact, Ike, you even have one contractor who is able to take an attached garage and turn that into a very comfortable living space. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, they can do it within possibly a few months. And the beautiful part about that is, and we've had clients over the years, even before the COVID crisis, that the family wanted to take care of a loved one without being too far away from them. This way, the elderly person or whoever wants the privacy, and still obviously wants the connection with the family. It's all under one roof, literally.
Right.
And
right.
So, and I know you're very knowledgeable in terms of various tradespeople that are reliable, and that's part of our commitment in doing this show, is we want to connect people to the type of people out there that can really help. And ironically enough, at one time, who would have thought, converting a garage to living quarters, my goodness, how empty my car's there. Well, it's actually become much more practical to do that. And one thing, too, is that you made reference to retirement homes. We have a team that will actually do a complete evaluation should you decide to move into a retirement home as to which one is best for you. So we encourage you to stay in your home if you can, but if you want to make a move, we do not charge for the consultation. Quite frankly, we do that in hopes that if we can help you, we work out a budget program so that really it's not any additional out-of-pocket expense for you. So by all means, call us on our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. While we're on the air, though, call in and let us know that you're listening to the program and how you can help each other, as we are all neighbors. So if you have any issues that you feel you want a professional advice between Lou and I, we'll try to help you. Better yet, we'll get the people that are out there sharing their thoughts and ideas. It's called Ask Your Neighbor. So ask us as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If anybody has an idea to share, we certainly want to hear about it. And that's the way Bob ran his program for over 50 years. And so we want to carry on a lot of those traditions that Bob started many, many years ago. And so we hope that you will call in with some ideas if you're able to, or some questions. Don't be afraid to ask some of the same questions. If you need a referral for a contractor for something as simple as a plumbing leak, or if you need to add some lights in a certain room where there are no overhead lights, we have the folks to whom we can refer, and we would ask some of the other neighbors if they have referral sources, to share their referral sources with us as well.
Right.
And once again, the number to call is 248-557-3300. And a good idea when you do call is to have a pencil and a paper by the phone, so that when we give out a referral or a phone number, that you are able to write it down. We know that Bob had a few visually impaired neighbors, VIPs, and of course we'll repeat the numbers slowly for those neighbors who are unable to write because of a visual impairment or some other type of impairment that prohibits them from writing. But we want everybody to make sure that if they have a question, that they get the advice correctly, where we don't rush anybody off the phone. But there are a few things that, again, getting back to staying in place, there are a few things that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and some of those bear repeating. Again, please bear in mind, October is Fire Safety Month, and it's a good time to make sure that things around the house are working correctly, particularly smoke detectors. If you don't have a fire extinguisher handy, you should have at least one, preferably one on each level if you have a multi-level home, and that would include a basement or a finished walkout lower level. Plus your insurance rates will go down on your homeowner's insurance if you have all those things. And if you do have smoke detectors and they do require a battery, then this is a good time of year to replace that battery. There are some newer smoke detectors that have been out for a couple of years that have a sealed battery, and they're good for 10 years. At the same time, with the colder weather now coming into play, a carbon monoxide detector is also recommended, and again, at least one on each level. And those can all be purchased online or at your favorite hardware store. Friends Hardware has all of those devices, the smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide detectors, as well as all the big box stores and the Walmarts and the Targets. So they're readily available. And if you don't have those, again, those need to be installed. They're easily installed. If you need somebody, please, again, reach out to us. The other thing that should be done for those of you who have a clothes dryer, if you haven't cleaned out your lint trap in a long time, you need to do that. So first of all, the lint trap on the dryer itself needs to be cleaned out after every load, after every wash load or dryer load. And secondly, though, the duct that leads to the outside of the house needs to be cleaned out once or twice a year, at the very, very least once a year, preferably twice a year. It is a do-it-yourself project. Anybody can do it. So if you have a a younger family member or friend, it's not hard to do. For those people who want to know how to do it, give us a call. I can walk you through it. But those are indeed fire hazards if you've never done that. We've talked in the past about cleaning under the refrigerator and keeping your refrigerator coils and motor clean. That's another good project to do this time of year. And Ike, are you telling me you've got a break coming up here? I think I heard you clear your throat there.
Right. Yeah, right. No, actually, we do have a break, and I can clear my throat at the same time. And after the break, please call 248-557-3300, and we can share some other thoughts that I think you'll find very interesting. So don't go away. We'll be right back. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free. Or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Ike Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate. All sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Ike Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. And especially now, we're trying to stay connected. Wouldn't it be a great idea to get something from Ike Bakery that you can mail for just sharing with friends? You don't have to wait for a holiday or a special occasion like a birthday or something. Just send out a card, and we can help you in getting that done so that you don't have a lot of busy work to do. They'll ship it right to the person's home, and it'll be a fun way of staying connected. And Lou, who's a people connector, actually is very creative as well. Tell me, Lou, have you had any experience with indoor gardening, plant-type gardening, or what do you think of that whole concept?
Well, okay, so thank you for asking. I do have some indoor plants. In fact, I just brought in a couple of plants that are indoor plants, that are tropical plants that I've had outdoors during the summer months, and so they will be indoors until next spring. And so a good tip is if you have done the same, then you want to make sure that you wash the leaves off really well. Make sure that there are no critters that you're going to bring into the house. But what I mean by critters is insects. Chances are you don't have any gophers that have buried into your containers, but you want to make sure you don't bring in any spiders or other insects that could damage the plants and get into your home during the warmer or during the heating months of the winter. There are certain insecticides for those of you who want to use an insecticide that are systemic. That means that they actually get into the plant through the roots. That you can pick up at at Friends Hardware or at your local garden center. You have to be careful with systemic type insecticides, however, because they cannot be used on fruits and vegetables, including herbs, because they are not edible. But for your decorative plants as well, that's fine. Also, if you have pets in the house, dogs or cats, of course, you want to be careful about the type of plant that you bring in, because some plants, even without using an insecticide, can be dangerous to cats or dogs if they chew on the leaves. So again, that's important that you check that out, or any other pets for that matter. You could have a ferret, you could have a bird that you let loose in your house. So be cautious of that. But in the wintertime, what I've found is that my indoor plants take less water, and of course there are fewer hours of daylight in the wintertime. So depending on the species of the plant, and there are so many out there, I am not the expert on that, but again, I've had good experience with house plants, and if anybody has any tips, they can. Yeah.
I was just going to suggest they call our toll-free number 888-489-8980 when we're off the air. And while we're on the air for the next half hour, the on-the-air phone number is 248-557-3300. And Bill from Livonia took advantage of that, and he's on the line with us. So hello, Bill.
Well, hello. How you guys doing?
Wonderful. Thanks so much for calling in. What's on your mind?
Okay, a couple questions. Now, when did you start to Ask Your Neighbor back up?
About 3 weeks ago, and Rob, Bob's son, will join me as he's available. Rob is a musician as well, so he's jamming away, and when he's not jamming, he said he'd come on.
Now, is this going to be every day, or?
Just we're right now doing Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 11:30 for the Ask Your Neighbor segment. And as you may know, if you've been listening to this particular station, I also host a segment.
The Entrepreneurs Network.
The Entrepreneurs Network, right. And also the Bright Side of Aging. So I try to mix it up, as they say.
Okay. Now, my other question is, the other guy's name is Lou, right?
Yeah, Lou. Yes, oh. Lou. Yes.
Okay, now I have a couple house plants. I have a lemon tree. It's small in a pot that I've had outside. It's still outside. It's been outside all summer, and I bring it in. Now, what kind of fertilizer should I use in that? And and I'll stay on and let him.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry, you had another question? Go ahead.
Okay. No, I've got this lemon tree, and it's only a couple feet tall. A friend of mine gave me, and I keep it out all summer. And but in the winter, it doesn't do great inside. not getting. I'm sure it's not getting the proper sunlight. I got it, close to a window and it's heated in there, but it's not getting the sun like it would in the summertime. So it's great in the summertime outside.
Okay.
Now, what kind of fertilizer should I use this?
Well, probably in the wintertime, you just want to give it a basic fertilizer of that you can buy at any of the garden centers.
Like a 555 or a 510? I don't know what.
Yeah, something exactly. Just a balanced fertilizer. It probably doesn't. Now, again, remember, citrus trees, when they grow outdoors, whether it's Florida or Texas or California or somewhere in the Middle East, this is the winter is their season. So sunlight, of course, is important. Now, again, you want to be careful that you don't over-fertilize it and over-water it because it's in a container. And one of the mistakes that a lot of people make with indoor plants of any sort is that they tend to overwater. So you want to make sure that you don't overwater.
Which I have in the past, and some of the leaves were falling off and they were changing color. Right. I looked it up.
Right, and it's going to drop some leaves indoors anyway. My wife growing up had a lemon tree. In fact, I believe I think hers was an orange tree, but she had an orange tree when we first met a very long time ago. But so it's going to drop some leaves, and that's due to the change in the environment, bringing it indoors. So again, it's going to be in a warm, dry environment. So humidity around the plant is a good idea. If you have a portable humidifier, I would use that. But keep it away from any heat registers. You don't want any warm air blowing directly on any plant. That's the mistake that a lot of people make. And again, the sunlight, too much sunlight can burn the leaves as well and cause leaf drop. But just from moving it from the outdoors into the indoors, you're going to have a little bit of leaf drop, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I'm presuming it's just a decorative plant that whatever fruit does come out in the wintertime, you don't consume. Is that right?
Well, I haven't had any fruit yet. I've had some flowers on it, but no fruit has ever come about. And the reason for that, of course, is because the flowers aren't being pollinated. So, right.
Unless you have a bee colony in your house, which I'm presuming you don't.
I don't know.
Most people wouldn't want to do that. But that's the reason that you probably wouldn't have any fruit. Although you can try to artificially pollinate some of those flowers and.
Now, would I have to come from a different tree or what?
Well, that's a good question. Typically, yes, that's what happens in nature is that the bees will cross-pollinate, and that's the way it works. What I would recommend you do is I'm not an expert on that subject, so I don't want to try to kind of fake my way through it. If you have access to the internet, I would look that up. There may be, now again, I don't know that the fruit would be edible, as well. It would depend on the particular species because certain citrus trees are only decorative anyway.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of experience.
This is supposed to be a fruit bearing one. Now, here's the thing. A friend of mine, I got it from him, and he grafts different, types of branches onto it.
Right.
So there's like a Meyer lemon, and there's 2 or 3 other things on there, which a couple of them have died, but I still got a couple, and I don't know which ones they are.
Okay. Well, of course, without seeing it and without doing a little research myself, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But for those neighbors who are listening, grafting means taking a branch of one species of tree and kind of planting it on the trunk of another type of tree, and that's how you get certain hybrids. And that's done with not only ornamental type plants, but with fruit-bearing trees as well of all species, apples, pear trees, and citrus trees as well. So, but that requires kind of a special touch and a little experience, and that's not my field of expertise.
Well,
but again, the basic things, the basic things to remember are to just be careful. Don't over fertilize and don't over water. Keep it away from
don't overwater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's too much
One
water.
One more quick question. Have you ever grown any ginger indoors in a pot?
No. But
Okay,
there are certain.
Certain what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, because I found out that you could, and I got a piece of ginger, and I said, after it sat around a little bit, it started had a little nodule on it, and I looked it up, and it said you could grow it. Now I've got a piece of, I've got a stem coming off it, and it broke off, but then it grew back, and I haven't stuck my hand under the soil to see the root or the tube or whatever it is. There's a different name for it.
Right.
And I just wondered, how long it would take, and if you've ever done it before.
I have not done it, but it can be done, as most of the neighbors probably know. Ginger is a root plant, like a potato, and the way to get another potato is to plant the potato in the ground, and ginger would be the same way. And if you're getting a shoot coming off of that tells me that it is growing. Now, again, growing it indoors, I've never done it, and I'm not familiar with the conditions and the type of soil that ginger roots prefer. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that question for you.
I was going to pipe in some of the larger nurseries would be probably a great source to get the information, and I certainly would encourage you to do that. Okay. Thanks a lot for calling in, Bill, and keep on listening. Have a good day. All right.
Listen to you. I'll listen to you from now on. All right.
God bless you. All right. Tell all your friends, and if you like it, and those of you that don't like it, tell your enemies. Okay. We got our lines jammed up, so I want to give people a chance to call in. Thanks, Bill, and hope to hear from you soon. And Lou?
Yes, sir.
I was just thinking that one of the things, too, that people should consider right now is the heating and cooling situation, and among things to try to follow up on is you should have your furnace checked out now while the going is good and the people aren't that busy. And I'll tell you, the more I think about the whole aspect of gardening at all, I haven't had any experience with it, but what do you call is that pontoon growing, where you can grow stuff inside in a tube? I forgot the professional name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about hydroponics?
Hydroponics.
It's grown in water?
Yeah, hydroponics.
Yes.
Hydroponics. Because I would think that would be a great project for people to take on now, since they're in their homes, and for these retirement homes like we were talking about, one of the downsides now, unfortunately, is there's so many relatives that want to visit with their relative, and they've got their restrictions, but that type of thing, and the relative is obviously looking for something creative to do, that might be something that there might be a value to people in their homes. I'd like to continue in our conversation, expecting Mark Corey to call in. So right now we'll take one brief break, and don't you go away, including you, Lou, okay?
Okay.
For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruise Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruise Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUISE, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruisehearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruise Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free, or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you. And we're back, and hopefully you are as well. And we were talking about the COVID crisis and all, and I was curious as to how you're trying to make your sort of lockdown situation less stressful. And I thought it might be interesting to hear what some of the other people have done. And I sort of jotted down some things that I think that, of course, would make a lot of sense while the weather is good. Take some long walks. There's some nature trails around the area that are just magnificent, and especially with the change of colors right now, depending on the areas, it's like a cascade of colors. And one of the other things you might want to do is check with some friends that you haven't talked to for a while, just to say hello. It's sort of strange, and the first time in my lifetime that the entire world is in the same situation. So there's sort of a common thread in terms of people's concerns about how to enjoy life as best they can under the circumstances. But being connected with people, and that's why I really enjoy doing this show, is that we can at least be in touch by phone. Lou, do you have any suggestions in terms of relieving some stress?
Yeah, well, certainly, Ike, as you mentioned, taking a walk while the weather is still reasonably conducive to doing that is a great way. First of all, you get some exercise and some fresh air, and as you mentioned, you get to take advantage of the fall colors, which is very, very short in our area, and in most areas where there's a color change. If you're listening from Miami, then the only change that you have are not necessarily the colors, but the hours of daylight. But for those of you who are in the Midwest and or in the Northeast, as you know, we're heard over the internet as well. So taking advantage of that, and again, the benefits of just getting up and exercising. What a lot of folks have done is they've taken up a new hobby, or they've resurrected an old hobby that they haven't had time for, whether it's woodworking, whether it's quilting, whether it's dressmaking, whether it's painting, or music or singing. Those are great stress relievers, and if you've thought about doing it, there are plenty of ways to do it at little or no cost. In some cases, if there are lots of free lessons that are available for those neighbors who have internet connections, you can look up videos on the computer, or if you have a smart TV, the same way, or if you have a cable service, oftentimes you have some of those internet channels that teach you how to do it or walk you through some of the steps on how to take up painting. One of my favorite programs, and I don't paint, but one of these days perhaps I may do that, but I like watching Bob Ross, who appeared for many years on PBS, and they repeat his programs daily on PBS on how to do oil painting.
Those are great. In fact, Lou will actually come up with some additional tips on our next program. Right now, we've got a dynamic entrepreneur that's just called in, and I wanted to have the folks know what opportunities there are if you're looking to actually earn some income despite the lockdown. And that's Frederick Dudek, who is a professional marketing guru, and he is at the webpages and also in the process of writing a book. So he's quite a dynamic guy, and the poor guy is stuck in Arizona right now, where we're complaining about winter, and they had 104 last week. But Frederick moved there and enjoys the whole climate. Is that right, Frederick?
Yes.
I'm glad you called in, and
horribly sunny outside.
You poor baby. Anyway, for those folks who are looking to earn some income and actually build a following of current clients they may have if they're in business, and if not, on how to get rolling, I thought you give us, first of all, as we do at our entrepreneur group, a 60-second elevator pitch, what you do and how you do it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm transitioning into becoming an author. I'm working on my first book, and I'm about 40-some pages into it. I've gotten, I think, 6,148 words written so far, and a lot more ideas and content that I've actually put down on paper yet. But the goal is really to help entrepreneurs and businesses really create what I would call a super fan. And think of it as a sports team. If you look at a sports team, you've got members, or I should say, fans that are wearing, face paint. They're wearing their jerseys. They're wearing caps. They're wearing banners. They've got bumper stickers, multitude of different things promoting that sports team because they're a fan. And the fans that are wearing all that that gear are basically what I would call a super fan. So what I'm writing about is ways of how the entrepreneur and business person can create their own super fans for their own business.
And actually, the strategies are not only in trying to get into seeing someone, but how you maintain a good relationship. And that's...
Oh, it's yes, that's definitely part of it, but I'll just share a simple story. When I was selling manufacturing software to tool and die shops, and we would go in, we'd bring our computer equipment. We knew that they'd be looking at some other different companies besides ours, because, at the end of the day, a lot of solutions do the job. It's just which one you are comfortable selecting. So we would go in and do our presentation. The other thing that we would do is we would really inquire what everybody's objective was in getting out of the meeting and a presentation. And we would have guys that would run, from the shop floor that were running the milling machines, the wire EDM machines, the lathe machines, etc. And they're the guys out in the shop, and then we'd have management. Well, when we were done with the presentation, I made sure that I got everybody's name. And I would send a follow-up letter to everybody, including all the people from the shop, thanking them for their time, their input, and we look forward to working with them, et cetera, et cetera. And we would win the deals. And when I'd follow up and ask, okay, what was the deciding factor? Why did you pick our company over, company XYZ? And the feedback was that they felt that we would be better at providing after the sales support than anybody else. And what really happened is psychologically, because we followed up with everybody was included. It created that warm feeling that, we cared about their business. And that's really the difference, is that, a lot of people don't take the time in small business to thank for the opportunity to potentially get the business. And that's one of the things that I talk about in the book is not only just general follow-up, but, following up for an opportunity. Once you get the opportunity, sending out a thank you for the opportunity now that you've been selected, because that reinforces the fact that, they made the right decision in picking your organization. And one of the tools that, I like to use is a company called Banner Season, which is a relatively new company. And Banner Season gives you the ability to create a custom, let's say, greeting card or a letter. And more importantly, you can create personalized products. So instead of just sending something with a logo or whatever, you can actually put that person's name, a picture of that person on, let's say, a coffee cup, a water bottle, etc., and send that. And so what that does is a thank you for the business. Not only does it cement that they've made the right choice by picking your company, but you're now creating the stage to create business superfans, because I send you a coffee cup, let's just use it as an example, with just a logo. It's really about me. However, when I take that same coffee cup and put your name on it, put Ike his name on it, and send it to you, now it's your coffee cup that happens to have my logo. Completely changes the dynamics of the gift, and it becomes a personalized gift. And personalized gifts is tremendous, and that's one of the things I talk about. Also, is not only with customers, but businesses need to be doing this with their employees, and also along with their business alliance partners. So for example, if you're a remodeling company, you might be working with a painter, a plumber, a landscaper. Well, those are all what I would call, alliances that complement each other. And so if they work in conjunction very well together, they could, pass around a customer could be, done the kitchen remodeling, and then the company does the painting, and the other guy did the plumbing in the kitchen remodeling, the other guy does the electrical, and you've gotten, one project can feed 4, 5, 6 different businesses, provided that, they maintain the alliance.
I hate to cut you off, but you just gave me an idea with Banner Seasons. If anyone is interested in actually using it in their own way, they're welcome to call our toll-free number, 1-888-489-8980. And I'm thinking right now with people in their individual homes and have home offices, if anyone is interested, I am working with the whole concept of personalized type of gifts. Why not send it to a friend or that you haven't been in touch with, and if you can have a picture, it can be put on their coffee mug, and we're not talking not necessarily just business, but socially connect, and then you can have a cup of coffee together. Each one.
Yeah, they could also go to Banner Season, BANNER Season, SEASON.com /ENOMI is the website that they can go and check out the service. They can get set up for free. There's a promotion going on right now where you spend, let's say, $45 on a subscription. There's no contract. $49, on a subscription. There's no contract, but that gives you 50 free greeting cards for the month of October. Unlimited postcards. All you do is spend the money on postage, and you can check out the service.
I'm thinking of social connections, and people are more than welcome to get in without any upfront fee. Unfortunately, I'd love to talk to you, but I don't have any time. Lou, I appreciate your being in on the conversation today. And Frederick, we'll talk soon. Right now, we only have enough time for my parting thought that I like to share, and that is, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Oh, please enjoy the present, despite what it is. And we'll see you or talk to you next week on Wednesday.
WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. This is WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.